Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we continue to look at updates in the Eliza Fletcher case. She was laid to rest this past weekend at the same church where she got married, so we'll look at that as well. But man, this headline right here and all these related articles and the documents and everything associated with just make me so mad. How about you? Look at it. The man who murdered billionaire heiress Eliza Fletcher is charged with the unsolved SA and kidnapping of another woman 1 year ago after DNA taken during his latest arrest linked him to the 2021 crime. And wait till you hear the details about that. Like, this dude was in prison for 20 years, from when he was 16 to when he was 36. He was let out of prison, and then within that first year of him being out of prison, this is one case we know about. Can you imagine how many we don't know about? How many other women he may have kidnapped and SA'd? It's horrendous. He should have never been let out of prison. So to think that these kits and things which we're going to get into were just lying in a drawer, and only now have they tied him to these crimes. Ooh, it just makes me so mad. Okay, so let's have a look at this together. So the man accused of kidnapping and murdering billionaire heiress Eliza Fletcher was charged with an unrelated kidnapping and SA that took place a year earlier thanks to DNA evidence compiled from his most recent arrest. Cleotha Abston, 38, was handed down a second indictment during a Thursday hearing that saw a judge deny him bail, thank goodness, for his alleged part in Fletcher's death. The new charges appeared in the Shelby County Criminal Justice Portal the next day. Abston was arrested on Tuesday, less than a day after detectives found Fletcher's body, but was rebooked on Friday on new charges of aggravated SA, especially aggravated kidnapping and unlawful carrying of a weapon. Memphis police said that the new charges stem from a kit sent to the TBI in September of 2021 when an unidentified woman filed the alleged crimes to the police. The DNA sample from the kit was sitting in evidence storage until a match was flagged in the system nearly 1 year later. It was on September 2nd, 2022, after Abston was arrested for allegedly murdering Fletcher, that there was a hit in the DNA database and the felon was subsequently rebooked. If they had taken that woman's filing of the report seriously and already done a DNA test on that kit, because he's in this CODIS database, because he just got out of prison, they would have immediately known it was him, and he would have been back in prison. And Eliza Fletcher would still be alive today. Now, I know hindsight's 2020, but damn. I know that worldwide, there's a problem in taking these kits and SA reports seriously and in an expedited manner, because you just don't actually know what these types of violent criminals who are doing this, even if they don't have a violent past, people that are doing this to others need to be looked into so they can stop doing it to others. And usually that type of behavior escalates and it could end up in murder. And look at it. Oh my word. Okay, so let's continue. There he is. Oh man, just making me so angry. Family destroyed. 2 little boys without their mom. Obviously husband without his wife. The Memphis Police Department said in a statement, an official CODIS National DNA Database hit was not received until after the unfortunate event that occurred on September 2nd, 2022. Probable cause to make a physical arrest of any suspect did not exist until after the CODIS hit had been received. You received the CODIS hit from a flip-flop, so could you not receive it from a SA kit? Oh my word. The kit was sent to the Investigation Bureau 2 days after the crime allegedly took place on September 21st, 2021. A spokesman for TBI confirmed the dates. However, they noted that the evidence against Abston was placed in a queue. This is what makes me angry. In a queue of unknown assailant kits, as no request was made for TBI analysis to be expedited. And no suspect information or DNA standard was included in the submission. Abston is a career criminal who served 20 years in prison for yet another kidnapping, in that case a man. Memphis police confirmed the new charges Saturday without providing any additional information on the 2021 case in question, other than confirmation that the new counts aren't tied to the Fletcher case. He had been charged with first-degree murder and especially aggravated kidnapping of Fletcher, a 34-year-old kindergarten teacher who had been on her routine morning jog Friday, September 5th in Memphis, Tennessee, when she was caught on camera being forced into a black SUV. Abston appeared in court in Memphis on Thursday, where he was charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence, with the judge again refusing him bail ahead of another hearing on September 19th. Jennifer K, his public defender, initially argued that there was a conflict of interest in her representing him, as her office had worked with him in a previous criminal matter in the early 2000s. However, the matter was dismissed by the judge, Louis Montesi Jr., despite him agreeing to hear her arguments regarding a gag order at a later hearing. Case argued that certain aspects of the case should not be made public after Memphis Police Chief C.J. David called Abston a dangerous predator. He is a dangerous predator. Tennessee is a state with a death penalty, and prosecutors on Thursday said that they were not ruling it out if he's convicted. Abston wore a green prison-issued uniform and a mask and only spoke to his public defender during the short hearing. Abston has been known to law enforcement since he was 11 years old. Now 38, he was just 11 when he first appeared in Shelby County Juvenile Court, charged with theft of property $500 or less. Court documents reveal that he was then convicted of SAing a man when he was a teenager and was placed in the custody of Shelby County's Youth Services Bureau. Do you see this track record? If they had just tested that kit in an expedited manner, test them all in an expedited manner. That's what I would say. Then Eliza would still be alive today. Wow, because his behavior literally escalated. Oh my word. SA as a kid, goes to prison for 20 years, comes out, kidnapping SA murder. I mean, it's man, this just makes me so angry. Okay, so they say he was detained 16 times. He was detained 16 times from October 1995 to May 2000 for SA, aggravated assault, and unlawful possession of a weapon. According to Action News 5, his first charges were filed against him in June of 1995, and that he was part of the LMG gang, which stands for Lemoyne Gardens Gangsters. LMG sounds a lot more gangster than Lemoyne Gardens Gangsters, right? 2 weeks after he was released from the Youth Services Bureau to his mother's care, he was transferred to adult court for the 2000 kidnapping of lawyer Kemper Duran, who worked in the same law firm as Fletcher's uncle, Michael Kinney. Abston was only 16 years old when he and an accomplice kidnapped Duran, threw him into his own trunk, and tried to force him to withdraw money at a gas station ATM. In his victim impact statement, Durant, who died in 2013, said he feared for his life during his kidnapping, where he was rescued by a nearby Memphis Housing Authority guard who heard his scream for help, the Commercial Appeal reported. It's quite likely that I would have been killed had I not escaped, Durant wrote. Abston was sentenced to 22 years in prison for the offense. Some reports say 24 years. He served 20, right? He was released early in 2020, which also makes me angry, before kidnapping again. Just 2 years later. No, actually just like 1 year later. Even less than 1 year later, because of this other one. Ex-officer Jennifer Coffendover told News Nation that she condemned the decision to release Abston 2 years early, saying that keeping him in prison would have prevented Fletcher's death. Exactly. Anytime someone's let out early and goes on to commit another violent crime, yes, I think society is let down, she said. I think we are all let down by his early release. And them not testing the kit when he actually re-offends after being released. Wow. Okay, and then let's have a look at this update where they say Memphis heiress Eliza Fletcher will be laid to rest on Saturday at a church where she got married. Dedicated teacher and mother is remembered by her family as someone who truly walked and modeled Christian life. So here they say Eliza Fletcher's funeral will be held on Saturday. Her family is announced at the Memphis church where she met and married her husband. The 34-year-old beloved kindergarten teacher was kidnapped and murdered last week, abducted as she went on her usual 4:30 a.m. run through Memphis. A 38-year-old career criminal who served 20 years in prison for kidnapping Cleotha Abston has been charged with her murder. On Thursday, the family confirmed the details of her funeral, which will be held at 10 a.m. at Second Presbyterian Church. Fletcher met her husband Richard at the church, and the pair were even married there in March 2014. The pair became parents to what her obituary described as two rambunctious, joyful boys, Richard James Fletcher IV and Harry Welford Fletcher. The obituary stated, she loved her family fiercely and unconditionally. Together as a family, they enjoyed outdoor adventures including boating, water sports, hiking, running, and biking. She was deeply admired by her family and friends for her passionate dedication to motherhood. So that's a picture of the church where her funeral was held. Oh man. The family also praised her strong faith. She truly walked and modeled the Christian life and trusted in her unwavering faith therein. Liza was a light to all who knew her. Her contagious smile and laughter could brighten any room. Liza was pure of heart and innocent in ways that made her see the very best in everyone she met. To know her was to love her and to be loved by her. They noted the massive interest in her story and her untimely death. Her impact is extraordinary, as is witnessed in the prayer groups, vigils held at the homes of friends and family, church and school gatherings, and memorial runs and walks in her honor, they wrote. On Friday morning at 4:30 a.m., a group of women intend to run 8.2 miles in honor of the murdered jogger, describing the event as finishing her run. The outpouring of love and grief would have surprised Liza, who never thought or acted as if she was something special, though she certainly was. The family are requesting that anyone wishing to contribute or make a donation to a fund set up in her memory at St. Mary's Episcopal School, where she taught, or at the church, which played such a large part in her life. Memphis Magazine said her wedding was the wedding of the year. After the church ceremony, the pair held their reception at the Dixon Gallery and Gardens with a rustic woodland theme, beneath a clear marquee lined with fairy lights. Fletcher, whose grandfather founded a hardware distributor based in Memphis with a revenue of $3.2 billion last year, wanted the wedding to reflect her outdoorsy personality. Guests were treated to a champagne and seafood bar, bluegrass musicians in the woodland, and an interior described by Memphis Magazine as a wonderland of flowers and ferns cascading from the ceiling. An Alabama-based artist, Ronald Baines, was commissioned to paint the event as it was happening. There has been no other wedding like this in Memphis, said the wedding planner team, Russell and Ruthie Events. Just looking at Cleotha makes me so angry, oh my word. He should have never, ever, ever been let out. Eliza Fletcher pictured was kidnapped after being forced into a black SUV on Friday. On Thursday, Abston appeared at court in Memphis, Tennessee, charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence, with the judge again refusing him bail ahead of another hearing on September 19th. Wow. Okay, so let me show you a little bit more of this wedding. So here they say, a memorable Memphis wedding. Eliza Welford and Richard Fletcher III, March 8th, 2014, at the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. So here's a beautiful picture of Eliza with her husband. They say, for our bridal section this month, I asked wedding and event planners Russell Whitehead and Ruthie Boland to suggest an especially memorable Memphis wedding that had taken place this past year. Without hesitation, in unison, they responded, the nuptials of Liza Welford and Richie Fletcher. Here you can see the invitation. So let's have a look at that. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. James Beasley Welford request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter Eliza White and Richard James Fletcher III. Saturday, the 8th of March, 2014 at 5 o'clock in the evening, Second Presbyterian Church, Memphis, Tennessee. Very nice. Of course, every wedding that Russell and Ruthie Evans plans is special, not least of which was the royal wedding last May. Surely everyone has read about that one. Still, Whitehead and Boland describe the reception of Liza and Richie last March, held on the grounds of the Dixon Gallery and Gardens, as truly magical. There's been no other wedding like this in Memphis, they agreed. I'm told our bride Liza is a natural girl, outdoorsy, athletic, warm, and the plans for her wedding emanated from her personality and style. Fortunately, her gracious and loving parents, Adele and Beasley Welford, were happy to be able to give their daughter the woodland-themed wedding she envisioned. At the outset, the whimsical and creative wedding invitations provided by Menage Fine Stationery and Gifts were letterpressed with swirling tree branches that provided the lucky guest with a taste of things to come. On the day of the wedding, the bride, along with her bridesmaids, had a dressing party at the beautiful East Memphis home of the bride's proud grandparents, Irene and Joe Orgel. The makeup session for the girls was provided by one of Memphis's favorite makeup artists, Seven Moore, formerly of Joseph, and now with Neiman Marcus, who came in from Atlanta especially for the occasion. The talented hairstylists were from Memphis, Ronald McKnight, Farrah Taylor, and Whitney Gicking. Sure, these photos are really, really beautiful, huh? It was a fairy tale wedding. Oh my word. So the wedding ceremony was held at nearby Second Presbyterian Church, which was indeed where the happy couple met, and sadly, where Eliza was laid to rest. The officiant was Reverend Mitchell Moore. Echoing the naturalistic theme, Liza's elegant wedding gown by Austin Scarlett was painted with pale mauve flowers. Mother of the bride, Adele Orgill Welford, looked gorgeous in a Lanvin dress adorned with butterflies. Delicate woodland ferns dripped from all the bridal bouquets. Okay, so now I'm just going to scroll through these pictures because it'll take me forever to read this all to you. I'm going to link the article for you if you want to read more about it, but just look at that. Damn. So beautiful. And literally this guy was there painting the whole scene. Imagine that. Imagine having a wedding where the guy's like literally painting the scene. Oh my gosh. Wow, it really looked very nice. It's nice to see her so happy there. Man. What an absolute tragedy this story is. Sure. So I just quickly wanted to show you this. It's from this Inmate lookup tool. You can see here Cleotha Abston, male, date of birth 11/27/1983, 6 foot, 175 pounds, black, short, eye color brown, complexion dark. There's his booking number and everything else, right? Incarceration information. He's in housing section number 4, housing block H, housing cell 1, 01. Okay, current housing bed. Looks like L for what left. Current location JMS. Commitment date 9/04/2022. Cleotha Abston, and middle name Dwayne, and also Pookie. Wow. No bond set. Thank goodness we can see all this no bond, right? And look at the charges. Aggravated SA, especially aggravated kidnapping, unlawful carrying or possession of a weapon, theft of property $1,000 or less, especially aggravated kidnapping, tampering with or fabricating evidence, first-degree murder, identity theft, theft of property $1,000 or less, and fraudulent use, or it says IL POS credited, so it's using someone's card for $1,000 or less. Like, oh my word, even if they had found him and arrested him on Thursday for this identity theft, Eliza would still be with us today. That is a scary thought, because there was already a warrant for his arrest the day before he abducted and murdered Eliza Fletcher. And that was for fraudulently using someone else's, I think it was a Cash App card. We looked at it in a previous episode if you missed it. Oh my word. And lastly, as you know, I like documents, so let's just finish up the episode with this document, the State of Tennessee versus Cleotha Abston, also known as Cleotha Henderson. Apparently, that's also his dad's name, and there are some charges that I'm looking into. I'm trying to make sense of it. It seems like his dad, speculatively, was also a kidnapper who also attempted murder. I'm trying to figure that one out because I'm like, what? You know, just with the ages of the son mentioned there and the age of the man and just everything that happened, it's just a little bit confusing. But it seems like his mom and his dad have been in and out of prison, so that's very sad to know as well. Indictment for aggravated SA, especially aggravated kidnapping, convicted felon in possession of a firearm. Witnesses summoned for the State E. Dobbins MPD Homicide Bureau. The prosecutor, True Bill, indictment returned 9/8/2022. Here they say, Criminal Court of Shelby County, July term 2022. The grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Cleotha Abston, aka Cleotha Henderson, on September 21st, 2021, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully and intentionally, knowingly or recklessly, S.A., by the use of force of coercion, while armed with a weapon or an article used or fashioned in a manner to lead this person reasonably to believe it is a weapon, in violation of TCA 3913-502 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. And here it says, the grand jurors of the state of Tennessee, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, and charged to inquire for the body of the county of Shelby, Tennessee, upon their oath, present that Cleotha Abston, aka Cleotha Henderson, on September 21st, 2021, in Shelby County, Tennessee, and before the finding of this indictment, did unlawfully and knowingly possess a firearm, having been convicted of especially aggravated kidnapping, a felony crime of violence, on November 8th, 2001, in Division 8 of the Criminal Court of Shelby County, Tennessee, under docket number 0014470, in violation of TCA 3917-1307 against the peace and dignity of the state of Tennessee. This guy has the longest rap sheet. He could now be facing capital punishment. You know, I never wish that upon anyone. I have mixed feelings about it, but damn. Please never let him out of prison. Let's at least say that, right? He's a bad, bad man. Wow. So I will let you know what happens at the next court hearing and where and when his trial will be, what's happening next in the case. I'm glad that, Eliza was laid to rest in her favorite place, her church, her community, the place she got married at, the place where she had her fairy tale wedding. So at least, she has closure. Man, her family, it is so sad to think of her young boys who'd be terribly missing their mom. Oh, man. So sending condolences and love to her family and friends. This will never be easy. This was absolutely unnecessary. Terrible. He should have never been out. And to think he's out and about prowling around at 4 a.m, it's just terrible. She's just going for a jog on a Friday morning in a disciplined way, right? I wish I was going for a jog at 4 a.m, you know what I mean? That takes a lot of discipline to get up and do that. And she did absolutely nothing wrong in the situation. And he's just, what a terrible man. I don't know about you, but this case has been very disturbing, of course, as many cases are, but damn, it's just incredibly sad. So I hope that you're okay. Thank you for watching. If you like the way that I cover true crime, please hit the thumbs up, share the video, hashtag Eliza Fletcher. Let's continue to fight for her justice, because this man needs to face the consequences. Oh, yes. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.